This is sportinglimerick.com bringing you live streaming from Newcastlewest in the heart of West Limerick. The action between Adare and St. Senans in the Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship. It's the final round in the group stages before we advance to the knockout part of the 2018 Football Championship. Adare and St. Senans, the two teams involved. Adare are out on the field of play. Their manager Harry Gleeson has been forced to make a few changes in the absence of regular players. Captain Shane Doherty, James Hickey, Stephen Keeley and Davy Lyons. We have new players coming in, namely James Hickey, Charlie McCarthy and Dara Lane, and the captain's armband will now be worn by fullback Adare O'Connor with that number 3 jersey. At the centre of the field, the referee, a very experienced official, be it in hurling or football, from Brewery, Mike Sexton. His brother in the past, John, has refereed an All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship final. As we await the arrival of St. Senans onto the field of play, John, what's the story in terms of the permutations at this point?
Well, they're unbeaten, 100% record so far, with 4 wins from 4. They're already through to the semi-final. A win from St. Senans should see them through to a quarter-final, but they've had a huge season up to date anyway, coming up from intermediate last year. A win for them is a possibility, but they're, despite missing a few regular players, should be favourites going into the game.
So Adare, the defending champions, looking to win back-to-back titles for the first time in their history, having only succeeded in winning the championship itself 12 months ago, are very firmly on course to achieve that goal. The entire Adare team for you is Brendan Carmody in goal, a full back line of Jack Fitzgerald, Adare O'Connor and David Connolly. Half-backs James Hickey, Owen Ryan and Paul Maher. At midfield, Charlie McCarthy and Oren Collins. Half-forward line reads Dara Lane, Hugh Burke and Jack English. And the inside forward line is that of Mark Connolly, Shane O'Connor and Mikey Lyons. Well, you've seen Adare involved in a few games in this Senior Football Championship. Their form from last year has been continuing over to this season as well.
Yeah, Mal, 4 wins from 4. They've just kept on going from where they were last season. Likes of Hugh Burke and Mikey Lyons in fine form as usual. And Jack English has also been a driving force from the half-forward line. You know, they're a seriously impressive outfit and look good at the moment for maybe holding on to their title.
The management team, headed up by Harry Gleeson, also including as selectors Pat O'Connor, Dave Lavin, Joe Reddington, Maurice Horn deeply involved, and so too is Niall Crowley. Adare being forced to wait those extra few minutes for the arrival of St. Senans onto the field of play. And we'll confirm the St. Senans team in just a moment, but it's likely that Sean McSweeney will come into the starting selection in place of his brother Seamus McSweeney. Darren Kavanagh is in for Conor Milan, the injured former inter-county performer, and Darren Lawler will replace the unavailable Dale Fitzgerald in defence. Team captain Adare O'Connor is at the centre of the field for Adare, so too the referee and the team of officials. All we need now are St. Senans to arrive on. St. Senans, of course, it's a community of Shanna Golden Fines and also Robertstown. That's the 3 elements of St. Senans that make up their team. St. Senans, a little bit of tactics maybe. They're up for this anyhow. Yeah,
they're definitely up for it, Mel. Making it their way to see Jason O'Mahony there running over to the dressing room to try and get them out into the field. It's a huge game for St. Senans. As you've already mentioned, they came up last year. They've been impressive so far, especially against Drumbroadford in round 3. James Naughton gave a display that day that he just ripped Drumbroadford to shreds at times. But I think he got 6 points from play in the end. He'll be key to their chances today as they come out into the field now.
They're well up for this, so too are St. Senans. St. Senans, of course, have to collect something this evening at Newcastlewest if they are to cement a place in the knockout stages of the 2018 Limerick Senior Football Championship. The captain, Adare O'Connor, is for Adare. The captain of St. Senans is their centre-half forward, James Naughton. James Naughton will be giving a sporting welcome here to Adare O'Connor. We've given a mention to the Adare team. St. Senans have Cian Walsh in goal. The defence is James Bridgman, Dave Finnerty, Darren Lawler there. So too Dara Wolfe, Adam Kearns and Ger Hanlon. Maurice Fitzgerald and Stephen O'Connell at midfield. Ollie Wallace, James Nocton, Richard Hayes, Anthony Mulvihill, Sean McSweeney and Darren Kavanagh. The forwards on duty this evening for St. Senans. Newly promoted in terms of their intermediate championship success of last season. They have been senior a few times in the past as well. Indeed, contested a senior final at the Gaelic Grounds a short few years ago. The referee is Mike Sexton of Brewery. Not too far away now from the start of the game. John, call it for us.
That's a difficult one to call, Mel. St. Senans in such good form, but you'd have to edge towards it there. They're 100% record to date. Champions from last season, and they just have steamrolled everyone they've come across so far this season. So it's hard to look past it there. A few seconds away now from throwing.
Adare would appear to have a new midfield partnership involving Jack English certainly there, and alongside him at this point is James Hickey. St. Senans have brought Richard Hayes, their towering attacker, out towards midfield as well, likely to link up with Maurice Fitzgerald as the St. Senans goalkeeper. In no great hurry is Cian Walsh to take his place in goal at the domain end of the fine field that is Newcastlewest, hosting this Limerick Senior Football Championship fixture involving Adare and St. Senans. Michael Sexton of Brewery will shortly get us underway here. Little bit of a breeze. That advantage will be for St. Senans in the opening 30 minutes of the game. St. Senans, the team with more on offer in terms of winning here. They need that to book their place in the quarter-final, if not even the semi-final of the championship. Adare have possession, the defending champions now, and Adam Kearns involved. They are centre-half back, nice ball fed through. Adare playing it down the right side of their attack and involving Hugh Burke. Hugh Burke now back, it comes all the way to the centre-half back, Owen Ryan. This is Owen Ryan still. Finding the new player that's available for Adare in James Hickey. Slow, cautious build-up by Mikey Lyons. Lyons planting a lovely ball through towards the corner belonging to Dara Lane of Adare. Lane playing it back. Here's Charlie McCarthy for Adare, linking up with Jack English. Mikey Lyons. A lot of the positive play for Adare revolving around the chap wearing 15, namely Mikey Lyons. Owen Ryan. They'll be happy to be well in contention at half-time, given the strength of the breeze that they're playing against in the first 30 minutes of this contest. Ball slipped as far as Paul Maher. Maher looking for an angle for a score. Maybe an option is a player coming through. Perhaps Hugh Burke. It's Hugh Burke that is available. Owen Ryan almost playing as a centre-half forward. The centre-half back, Michael Sexton, has given the free in favour of Adare, won by Jack English.
Yeah, very patient build up there, Mel, from Adare. Held onto the ball well, as you mentioned, playing into a stiff breeze. Hugh Burke on the ball a lot, and of course Mikey Lyons, as you also mentioned, that one of the playmakers they have. Chance now from, looks to be James Hickey taking the free, which is a bit of a surprise, maybe too far out for Hugh Burke.
Well, it's still within scoreable range, you would imagine. It's only 30 metres out from the goal. Here comes the strike from James Hickey, and he's dropped it kindly over the crossbar. Nice point by James Hickey, and it's the first score of the evening. The holders at Adare moving into that early advantage inside maybe 3 minutes of the first half. St. Senans looking maybe to get away with this one. Anthony Mulvihill is put under pressure. It works out okay for the Saints, who have a free. Cian Walsh, the goalkeeper for St. Senans. Here it's popped towards Dara Wolfe. Dara Wolfe gained ground there, maybe 30 metres or so. He has it back, wasn't quite expecting it. And Adare win it against the odds through Shane O'Connor. Adare still holding on to possession with Owen Ryan. Paul Maher, the player that's advancing through now. It's Maher. This is an encouraging passage of play for Adare, who've owned the ball in the very early stages of this championship fixture. In the end, it's with Shane O'Connor looking for an opening here. That wasn't a very intelligent ball played through, and St. Senans coming strongly on the counter-attack. Looking for their first point, driven through by Sean McSweeney. Didn't work out. Adare have stolen possession back, and Maher and company clear the ball as far as the available Charlie McCarthy. McCarthy finding Hugh Burke, who had a brilliant 2017 season as Adare swept through to win their first ever Limerick Senior Football Championship title, one of the jewel clubs in Limerick at this point, along with the likes of Napirsig. It's Adare and Mikey Lyons for them. Lyons available once again is Charlie McCarthy, having a good match early on. St. Senans claim possession, and it's with Dara Wolfe, and now to James Bridgman. St. Senans have put in a lot of training this season under the management of Damien Fitzgibbon, Pat Hennessy, John Hanlon and Shane Kelly. Maurice Fitzgerald deep inside the St. Senans defence. Strong, powerful, athletic midfielder. Nice ball fed through. Good feeling as well by Sean McSweeney. Very late starter for his brother Seamus McSweeney. And this is Sean McSweeney looking for a way through. Referee Mike Sexton has allowed play to continue. It could have been a free in the 5th minute as things stand. It's Adare that lead by the only score of the day, a pointed free earlier by James Hickey. Paul Maher. Nice ball fed through as far as the centre half forward. That's Hugh Burke. Hugh Burke slipped outside towards Paul Maher. Now coming through Collins. Oren Collins. Adare are commanding in the field of play at this point in time, and an opportunity for Darrell Lane. He too was looking for a free. Referee is having none of it. He's allowing play to continue, and St. Senans are trying to get away from a difficult situation, and they do so in the end with Darren Lawler. He'll be shortly appearing in Ireland's Fittest Family, along with a couple of his siblings, and indeed his mum is in it as well. St. Senans and Maurice Fitzgerald. Ball fed towards the right side of the St. Senans attack. They're playing reasonably well, but haven't been on the score sheet just yet. A big ball played through. St. Senans looking for the breaking ball to go their way. It doesn't quite work out for them. The toe went in belonging to Dave Connolly. And Adare have possession back when Mikey Lyons is way back in the heart of his own defence. Aidan O'Connor was involved, so 2 once again, Owen Ryan. And Ryan is having a particularly very impressive showing in the early stages of this championship tie. Jack English, his delivery, finding Mark Connolly. Mark Connolly for Adare, who lead by 1 point in search of a second point, and St. Senans are up to it once again. And sweeping it away as far as Maurice Fitzgerald to the West Limerick team. From the N69 Coastal Road from Limerick to Kerry. Darren Lawler has found his captain James Naughton, and Naughton getting this movement forward on Oren Collins, and that's a free. St. Senans, they're only a point down, they're playing okay.
Yeah, they are, Mel. They're with a lot of the ball, but you just see now in the last couple of minutes, especially St. Senans getting more of the possession. Ollie Wallace giving a long high ball in towards Sean McSweeney at the edge of the square. It's something they may have to do more of in the second half, but James Naughton really getting on the ball now for the first time there. Immediately they're realising his threat, taking him down, freeing.
At this stage it is known that Adare are through to the semi-final of the Limerick Senior Football Championship. St. Senans have an opportunity to join them in the knockout phase, but must collect something really here to guarantee that. If results go their way elsewhere, they could also qualify, but realistically they need to collect something that's an offer here. Dave Lavin, former servant of Adare in both hurling and football, one of the mentors involved with Adare this season. This is the Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship tie in the 8th minute of the first half. Injury concern on the Adare team would appear to be in relation to James Hickey, is it?
Yeah, it's James Hickey down. I'm not sure. He seems to be getting a bit of spray. I'm not sure how the incident occurred. He was wanted to chasing players coming back, trying to tackle James Naughton, but don't think it's too serious. But should be okay to continue.
Yeah, I would think so, really. Doesn't seem to be overly injured. The teams in this year's Senior Football Championship, as has been the case for the last few years, will compete for the Father Casey Memorial Cup, a fine trophy presented by the Father Casey's Club of Abbeyfield to the Limerick Football Board in recent years. Richard Hayes, wind assisted, but probably outside his range. This is Hayes, delivers it through the right direction, a testing ball inside for Adare, and the injured player a moment ago was under that dropping ball, and that was Charlie McCarthy. Fine piece of fielding. They're certainly trying to play the possession game, holding on to it. That's the key. On the run near side for them is Paul Maher. Here's Maher onto it, having received it from Owen Ryan. Jack English. Maher once again. Fine hand pass ball to Mikey Lyons. Lyons needs to get rid of this one fairly quickly and does so. They're not in an effort to go for a score, or not attempting to go for a score anyhow. Here's Owen Collins. Collins on a little bit of a run through against the St. Senans defence, gaining ground as well. Needs the support of Mark Connolly. In turn, Hugh Burke. Hugh Burke, one of the leading scorers last season for Adare, and indeed well on the score sheet as well in 2018. Coming through, captain Aidan O'Connor. Jack English. They're teasing out the St. Senans defence, and there was a very important interception there that St. Senans will enjoy. And Cian Walsh, in the end, the player that knocked it away, their goalkeeper. St. Senans are coming through, and Stephen O'Connell for them. Centre forward James Naughton involved. Naughton motoring his way through against the Adare defence. This another free and an opportunity maybe for Richard Hayes. Yeah, it's going to be Richard Hayes going to come out and take this one. This might be within his range. Still maybe 60 metres off from the goal. Hayes was coming out to take it. That didn't quite work out, and it's Stephen O'Connell that has possession for St. Senans. Had to get rid of that one very, very smartly, and did so in the end. Maurice Fitzgerald, Anthony Mulvihill now involved. Coming through, Adam Kearns, centre half back, linking up with James Naughton. Fitzgerald once more now for St. Senans. They've gone a long journey in this match without a score, and that's going to be a free for Adare.
Yeah, ponderous enough build up there from St. Senans. Richie Hayes was coming out to take the free, but they took it quickly. Didn't really work out. Low scoring game. Both teams kind of slow in attack so far, as St. Senans have the ball again now.
Well, they had it for a moment, and Adare have won it back, and that's Paul Maher that has set Mikey Lyons away. Mikey Lyons for Adare. Lovely ball through, and it's Hugh Burke. Adare leading by 1. Steps are afraid, nothing being called by Mike Sexton. Nice ball to Shane O'Connor on the left wing, the full forward. It's O'Connor with a left-booted effort that's dropped away. That, I make it, is the first wide of this evening's match at Newcastlewest. Cian Walsh plays it short as far as James Bridgman territory. Darren Lawler has made ground near side. Looking to get away from his marker is James Naughton. Not an easy thing to do when you're up against Owen Collins. St. Senans with possession, and Sean McSweeney. McSweeney's effort, that's a beautiful score. It's the equalising point. It's taken a while to arrive, but it has arrived for St. Senans, who have tied up proceedings in the 13th minute of the first half.
Yeah, lovely score there, Mel, from Sean McSweeney. James Naughton was trying to get free, as you said, from Owen Collins. Kind of afforded Sean McSweeney a bit more room. Drifted onto his right foot and stuck a lovely point over.
Brendan Carmody, one of the finest goalkeepers around, be it in Gaelic football or soccer, with whom he plays with Rathkeale in the Desmond League. Aidan O'Connor at the moment in possession for Adare, finding Mikey Lyons. Mikey Lyons is as professional a player as you'll meet any day of the week. Owen Ryan involves Charlie McCarthy, who in turn links up with Jack English for Adare. Clever ball as far as Hugh Burke, out ahead of his marker, namely Anthony Mulvihill that time. St. Senans got a touch to it, but it's available for Adare. And coming through for them is Mikey Lyons. Always excitement when Lyons gets onto the ball. Darrell Lane's ball way over to the far side. Shot is being blocked, and St. Senans have an opportunity to go on the counter-attack and do so with Stephen O'Connell. Here's James Nocton. St. Senans are looking for something positive here as the match is level at a point apiece. Very competitive fixture. Adare have won the breaking ball. It falls to James Hickey. David Connolly has plenty of time here to work this one out of his defence. Meanwhile, off camera, St. Senans have an injury concern in relation to their top scorer this season, Richard Hayes. Adare and Jack English coming through. The Makesiders from the beautiful village of Adare still with the ball, and Shane O'Connor planting it across the field. St. Senans have stolen it once again. For them it's Ger Hanlon. Now it's Maurice Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, having received it from James Bridgman, has done enough to earn a free from the Brewery referee Mike Sexton. St. Senans playing with the breeze in the opening 30 minutes will need to be ahead at half-time, one feels. Free player making ground once again is Lawler. Got a late call up to replace Dale Fitzgerald in the St. Senans defence and is impressing. Ball thumped across the field of play, and St. Senans control it this time with Darren Kavanagh. Not a very good ball through, and Adare with Paul Maher coming away. Maher for Adare. Crowded out of it, but possession remains with his team. Shane O'Connor that time popped it back, and Adare have plenty of options here. A team well managed over the last couple of years by Harry Gleeson. Here's Charlie McCarthy. Jack English looking to open up the St. Senans defence, so too is Charlie McCarthy. McCarthy, will he go for a score now? He's within range, 35 metres out from the goal. Mikey Lyons for Adare. Has he managed to squeeze it in? He has. Nice point. Mikey Lyons, as this opening half moves into its second quarter. Hickey wearing 20, Charlie McCarthy wearing 8, just to confirm that for Adare. May have been a slip up, but these things do happen. Anyhow, Adare are back in front, leading by that single point.
Yeah, Mikey Lyons has seen a lot of the ball so far, Mel. Finishing off an attack there has been a huge influence in everything Adare have done well so far. They'll be happy enough, even though it's only a point ahead. They've had a lot of the ball since Senans, as you've already mentioned. Very strong breeze behind their backs in this first half. Breaking play now with an Adare player down injured, but level enough game so far.
In terms of the score, as we move into the 17th minute of the opening half, the holders of the title, Adare lead St. Senans by a solitary point, 2 points, playing 1 at this juncture of the game here at Newcastlewest. Newcastlewest has one of the finest venues in terms of the playing senior football championship ties. We have score updates.
Yeah, just reading here, Mal, after 15 minutes of another game, this Group 1 of the senior championship, their relegation threatened in the Piershick, leading Ballylanders 3 points to 2.
St. Senans have earned a free at midfield, that one going against James Hickey. The free won by St. Senans thanks to Anthony Mulvihill. Dan Lawler has not been marked very well, it would appear. Here's Dan Lawler. Lawler knocked through. He's looking for the return pass from Jerry Hanlon. He has it too. This is Lawler testing ball inside, and Adare are there to claim vital possession. Mikey Lyons to Aidan O'Connor. O'Connor slips it through to Owen Ryan. Owen Ryan in turn to Jack English. A lovely ball as far as Paul Maher. There's a good counter movement by the holders Adare and Paul Maher. Near side screaming for this Hugh Burke. It's not going to reach him. Instead, it's Jack English. The aforementioned Hugh Burke is now onto it. Burke for Adare up against Darren Lawler, getting the better of Lawler for once. Cheeky play, intelligent play, whatever. Here comes Hugh Burke, drawing it over towards Paul Maher. Hasn't worked out, and St. Senans right onto it. That's a free. Mike Sexton awarding it in favour of St. Senans. Dara Wolf and company looking for possession. In the end now, here's Ollie Wallace. St. Senans behind by one, playing with that breeze. Under 12 minutes of normal time left in the first half. And Darren Lawler gaining a few extra yards here. Coming back is James Hickey. Goal side, very important. St. Senans now, and Anthony Mulvihill in turn to the captain, Naughton. Centre half forward, James Naughton, making some headway. Ball drops short, some 30 metres out from the goal for St. Senans, who hold on to possession. Ball through, works out okay for them. St. Senans looking to go level for the second time, and that's beautifully clipped over the crossbar. It's a second score for them, and both have come courtesy of Sean McSweeney.
Yeah, lovely score there, Mal, from St. Senans. Patient build-up. McSweeney involved a couple of times, then beat a couple of Adare defenders and slotted one over with his left foot. He's looked very dangerous when he's got the ball so far. Him linking up with James Naughton is key for St. Senans' chances.
And with the ball at the moment, Adare's Hugh Burke, listed as centre half forward, playing a variety of roles here out around midfield and roaming through to that attack as well. Mark Connolly for Adare. Still it's Connolly, the free player. Inside is Mikey Lyons, so too is Hugh Burke. Hugh Burke now to Mikey Lyons. Lyons who chipped in with a fine point earlier. The advantage has been allowed. This one a very high ball, would appear to be on target, and that's a terrific score. Mikey Lyons, with the teams having been level on 2 occasions, has now edged Adare back in front. They are ahead by 3 points to 2.
Another fine score there from Mikey Lyons. A bit quicker attack from Adare, transition the ball quicker up the field. Hugh Burke, no surprise to see Hugh Burke and Jack English involved in the build-up, and then Mikey Lyons finishing it off with a fine score.
St. Senans and Stephen O'Connell. Now Maurice Fitzgerald probing ball inside, under it Richard Hayes. In the end it's the goalkeeper Carmody that's there. Well, he's not too far off 7 foot. Adare now coming away from the heart of their own defence, holding on to a slender advantage. Hugh Burke holding on to the ball, finds James Hickey. Hickey knocks it through as far as his inside forward line, just a 2-person inside forward line, including Mark Connolly that time. He's beaten to it. Now Darren Lawler for St. Senans. Very athletic teenager. It's still Lawler. Lawler looking for support inside. In the end it came with James Naughton. Naughton, midfielder Stephen O'Connell. Lawler once again. Maurice Fitzgerald, nice intelligent ball through. In the end linking up with Stephen O'Connell. O'Connell is going to have a pot himself. Dropping it in, is going left and cannot be kept alive. It's a wide for St. Senans. The wides have been relatively low, so too have the scores.
Yeah, a lack of shots. Both teams taking their times and getting shots away. Patient attacking, looking for that little opening. Well, we've had 1 wide from each team and only 5 points in 22 minutes of football. Quality hasn't been brilliant, but a lot of that down to good defensive play maybe.
They're anxious to preserve their unbeaten run. They've played 4-1-4 this season. Adare finding a ball to own Ryan. So it goes towards the territory of Mark Connolly. Connolly trying to get away from his marker. His marker is David Finnerty. Too many steps taken. St. Senans have this free in the 23rd minute of the first half of an Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship match. This has been streamed for you on sportinglimerick.com. Anthony Mulvihill. Here's Maurice Fitzgerald. Right now it's Adam Kearns for St. Senans, being pursued by Mikey Lyons. Ollie Wallace in turn with Fitzgerald once again. Richard Hayes is just the one player inside for St. Senans in this first half as they threaten to get the better of the available player Charlie McCarthy, but it's hard to beat McCarthy. Aidan O'Connor. Here's Ryan once again, and at the moment it's James Hickey. Challenge comes in from Adam Kearns. Adare are at halfway and Hugh Burke in possession. Suddenly 45 metres out from the goal, and Paul Maher looking to make inroads here against St. Senans, namely James Bridgman. Nice ball in the end. It's with Adare, and Jack English has fired it splendidly over the crossbar. Jack English joining Mikey Lyons and James Hickey on the score sheet for Adare, who now push 2 points in front.
Another fine score there from Adare. They were a bit quicker in their attack again with Paul Maher coming in off this right wing. They're on the go again here now with Hugh Burke.
Hugh Burke looking for an option. One of those is James Hickey. Will he think about a goal? No, in the end he wisely knocks it over the crossbar. Splendid point. Adare with a couple of rapid fire scores now, putting St. Senans under pressure here in terms of achieving a result that would confirm a place in the knockout stages of Championship 2018. It's 5 points for Adare, 2 points for St. Senans. Mike Sexton has stopped play. He's the match referee from Brewery, a hugely experienced official. When play does resume, it will be this free for St. Senans.
Yeah, man, they're just stretching into a 3 point lead now, 5 minutes left in the half. They've been very comfortable on the ball. They haven't had to overextend themselves, showing their form from last year, and obviously season. St. Senans with it all to do. They have a very strong breeze. They haven't used it enough. Once or twice they've given long ball into Richie Hayes inside in the one-man full forward line. They need to do that more in the remaining 5 minutes. Try and break something, get players around him, because they're now with a 3 point lead. Having that breeze in the second half will be very strong favourites.
The concern so is with the St. Senans management team, headed up by Damien Fitzgibbon, one of the great servants of the St. Senans club. Darren Lawler. They are, of course, St. Senans without their star players this year, namely Conor Milan, and in particular at the moment, given his current well-being on the scoring field of late, Ian Ryan. He's been ruled out for the entire season. Adare are coming forward and galloping away near side. The available player, Jack Fitzgerald. Jack Fitzgerald's through ball picked up by St. Senans. Anthony Mulvihill. In turn, it's David Finnerty. Lovely ball, finding one of his own who has plenty of time here to work it. And St. Senans perhaps should be playing it long. Ollie Wallace and co. Here's Maurice Fitzgerald. He's arrived at halfway. Lawler's near sideline. He's been an option so many times in this first half. Darren Lawler. Lawler still in possession for St. Senans. Needed the available player, who happens to be the captain, Nocton. Strong challenge, Maurice Fitzgerald. The referee allows play to continue, and here is Richard Hayes as far as the fringe of the square. Appeals for a penalty have been overlooked. The player that was under that dropping ball was Darren Kavanagh, and Adare, luckily enough, are getting it away as far as Hugh Burke. A moment of danger for Adare on that occasion. Suddenly Adare come towards midfield with their 3 point lead preserved. Free given. Could easily have been a goal scoring chance for the underdogs.
Yeah, Richard Hayes giving the ball in, a low enough but accurate ball into Darren Kavanagh, kind of ball he's been craving for in this first half. They're maybe lucky to get away with not conceding a penalty. They got away with it, moved the ball up now and back in possession around midfield.
Adare finding David Connolly. Well, that was the intention. Suddenly Richard Hayes, who's been brought out from the full forward line, becoming more and more involved. Richard Hayes, 21-year-old, broken away from him, but it's available for St. Senans. Hayes is looking for it, but going it alone, and why not if you can kick like that? Sean McSweeney, 3 points. He's having a smashing match here, as the resulting goal kick out was taken too quickly for the liking of the match referee.
Well picked up there by Sean McSweeney after a breakaway with Richard Hayes, who tried to find James Naughton, maybe looking for a goal late in this first half. McSweeney settled for the point, but he's got all 3 of St. Senan's points to date. They'll need him more on the ball.
A competitive outing here at Newcastlewest. 2 points dividing the holders Adare and St. Senans. Adare are already qualified for the semi-finals. St. Senans looking to join them in the knockout stages. Here come Adare, and that's Hugh Burke landing a terrific point. Hugh Burke, the centre half forward, becoming the 4th scorer for Adare, along with Jack English, Mikey Lyons and James Hickey. The 3-point lead has been restored by Adare. They're in front by 6 points to 3.
Yeah, fine. Another fine score from Adare. They're getting their scores much easier, even against this strong breeze. Probably the better quality forwards with you, Burke. They have more options maybe than St. Senans so far. Burke shots his first point of the game. He's been opting to lay the ball off rather than shooting himself so far. Another fine score for Adare, and they're double lead now, double scores.
As we count down towards half-time, St. Senans looking to hold on to it. They have a free, and Richard Hayes is out smartly now to take this one. In terms of time, we're inside the final minute of the first half. A couple of minutes likely to be added as well in terms of the injuries that were shortened actual play in the first half at Newcastlewest. St. Senans, having relied so heavily up front on Sean McSweeney with his 3 points, all from play, will now look for a second point to join him, a second person rather, to join him on the score sheet. Richard Hayes, the player that has been entrusted with this resulting free kick. Not ideal for a right-footed kicker. Richard Hayes, who started in the full forward line, now playing in his customary number 12 position, has stroked this one delightfully over the crossbar. Richard Hayes, 4 points for St. Senans, who have closed the gap to 2 points on Adare. It's a game very much on here at Newcastlewest. First half is in stoppage time. It should be a very eventful second half. James Hickey, ball runs away from him, maybe towards Paul Maher. It didn't for long. St. Senans have it, and Richard Hayes needs to be careful here.
Yeah, he looks to have struck out of Paul Maher. They were tangling as Hayes got possession. He seemed to have swung out an arm. Be interested to see. Mike Sexton was in very quickly. I'll be interested to see the colour of the card, Mal.
Probably yellow, I would think. Richard Hayes, who has been in trouble with officialdom already this season, is talking to him too long. It's gone. He's gone. Richard Hayes, a straight red card. Probably questionable decision, but if you were to read the rule book, it was an instant dismissal.
Oh, he can have no arguments with that one, Mel. Fair enough, Paul Maher was holding on to him, but swung his arm back, elbow connected with the face of Paul Maher, left Mike Sexton with no real option.
And it leaves St. Senans with a mighty uphill battle now here at Newcastlewest.
Absolutely. Richard Hayes was just coming more into the game as he brought out from full forward, instrumental in the last couple of scores. He's an inspirational player for St. Senans. He's had a good season. Things have just got harder for them, as you've said.
And even if St. Senans are to progress a stage further in this championship, they will be without Richard Hayes for the next outing. Adare and Paul Maher. 2 minutes of additional time have been played here at Newcastlewest at the tail end of the first half. Adare holding on to it, and Jack English. Now here's Owen Collins, very athletic figure, now onto it. Aidan O'Connor, whose father Pat was a star player with county championship winning team Gerald Griffins in times past. Here's a free for Adare, and if this one is to be knocked over, they'll be in front by 3 points at half time. Hugh Burke, the likely free taker for Adare. 1 point so far in the match. That came from open play. Looking to score now at the very death in terms of the first half of actual play at Newcastlewest. There won't be much time to be added on after this piece of play. Hugh Burke, centre half forward for Adare, looking to collect his second point of the evening and give an Adare team a nice little bit of breathing space with the breeze to be behind them in the second half. He doesn't miss too many, does Hugh Burke. He doesn't miss on this occasion. It moves Adare on to 7 points. The referee Mike Sexton is about to look for the ball. Half time has arrived in Newcastlewest. It's looking good for the defending champions to go unbeaten through the group stages.
Very much so, Mal. The red card towards the end of the first half has given them an even bigger lift to go with their 3-point lead. They've been relaxed on the ball. They've attacked when they've needed to attack. They haven't needed to get out of second gear so far. Senans will be devastated with the loss of Richie Hayes now. Playing into a strong breeze in the second half. Even looking at them going across the field, heads are down and many of them. They'll need a huge effort to keeping this game number one, and hopefully from their point of view keeping the championship.
It's sportinglimerick.com streaming live from Newcastlewest. This final round fixturing Group 1 of the Irish Wire Products County Senior Football Championship of 2018. Half time has arrived. The defending champions Adare holding a lead over St. Senans of 3 points. The half-time scoreline is Adare 7 points, St. Senans 4 points. We'll be back in maybe 10 or 15 minutes for second half coverage on sportinglimerick.com of the second half. Welcome back to our live stream on sportinglimerick.com of the Limerick Senior Football Championship tie involving Adare and St. Senans, supported by Irish Wire Products. It's the final match in Group 1. Adare already qualified for the semi-finals. No matter what happens here, St. Senans in a good position even if they are to lose, but they are down to 14 players. Half-time score 7 points to 4 in favour of Adare. Mike Sexton will shortly get the second half underway. John, it's looking very good here for Adare.
It is, Mal. Yeah, they haven't needed to get out of second gear, as we were saying before at half time. Getting their scores a lot easier than St. Senans, and now even though the win seems to have dropped a little bit, they should have enough to see themselves through with 5 wins from 5 from the group stages.
Earlier on I saw Shane Kelly, who's from Newcastlewest, coaching of course St. Senans, give a strong team talk. I wonder what sort of a team talk he gave at half time, because they have their work cut out here in Newcastlewest with 30 minutes to go. Do St. Senans to get a positive result, or indeed any sort of a result. Adare and Hugh Burke, he knocked over 2 points in the first half. Now in possession, Paul Maher teasing out the St. Senans defence. Mikey Lyons was expecting it and is onto it. Mikey Lyons for Adare, throwing a good ball in towards his full forward line. That's a free for St. Senans, who, to remind you, lost Richard Hayes to a straight red card at the tail end of the first half, and thus are numerically at a disadvantage against the holders Adare for this second half. Inside the first minute of that half, here's St. Senans and Anthony Mulvihill. Mulvihill for the Saints, linking up in turn with Darren again for St. Senans. They need a very good start to this second half to come back into the reckoning. 3 points adrift in a low scoring match. Indeed, so far just 2 wides, 1 apiece. St. Senans have possession now. There may be an opportunity for them. Looking for something here for them is Max Sweeney, and Max Sweeney has thrown it over the crossbar. His 4th point of the afternoon. Well, for a moment it looked as if there's maybe a chance to threaten Brendan Carmody in the Adare goal. There
was a good ball in and very well won by McSweeney. There, Aidan O'Connor got back just in time to put him off, and Sean McSweeney settled for the point. Just a quick note, Oran Collins is man marking James Naughton. He's doing a fantastic job for Adare today. Naughton has been St. Senans' danger man throughout every game this season, most notably against Runbradford, but Collins hasn't given him a sniff today so far.
St. Senans have the ball back, and Anthony Mulvihill. In the end, they've managed to feed it through towards the defensive 45. St. Senans now moving forward, and Stephen O'Connell for them. Still O'Connell. Good presence around the centre of the field so far in Championship 2018 for St. Senans. James Naughton. Naughton looking to get inside Oran Collins. It's going to be a free. St. Senans have it. 3 minutes into the second half. We await the first score of this second period. St. Senans hold on to possession once again, and Darren Lawler for them, linking up with Darren Kavanagh. Adare winning it back, and Jack Fitzgerald. It's 7 points to 5. Adare, the team that are holding on to a precious 2-point lead. They also are backed by the breeze of this half. No real pressure on the Adare centre half back, Owen Ryan. It's going to be a line ball for St. Senans. One they decide to take very quickly, finding Anthony Mulvihill. Adam Kearns has been released, and he makes progress into open space inside once again. Sean McSweeney, one of the star performers here at Newcastlewest this evening. McSweeney has scored 4 points, but not this time. He's dropped it rather tamely towards the left. It's just a second wide for St. Senans. Adare have just one wide behind them.
Yeah, need a bit of a hit and hope shot there from McSweeney. He'd come in well onto his left foot. A couple of Adare defenders around him though, and probably should have come back outside with the ball, but St. Senans with another free now, won by James Nocton.
On this occasion, James Nocton will probably take the free himself. Richard Hayes, their regular free taker, he's not on the field of play at the moment, having been dismissed with a straight red card near the end of the first half. Maurice Fitzgerald looking for it, but James Nocton is going to take his time and attempt to score. It's maybe 40 metres out from that goal. If this one was to be fired over, suddenly just 1 point would divide Adare and St. Senans. Here comes the free. It's drifting towards the right. Can be kept in play, and it is. St. Senans holding on to the ball, courtesy of Darren Kavanagh. Here's McSweeney. McSweeney sends it in. Neat point taken by Sean McSweeney. His second of this half, his fifth of the match. And St. Senans are coming back into serious contention.
Yeah, it's all McSweeney again at the moment. He did brilliantly to keep the ball in from Nocton's attempted free. Then Darren Kavanagh gave him the ball back. This time more accurate than he was with his last shot, and a point between the teams, and St. Senans have started the second half very well.
The scoreboard reading 7 points to 6 in favour of Adare, who headed St. Senans by 3 at half time. 7 points to 4. They haven't scored, have Adare, in the first 5 minutes or so in Newcastlewest in this second half. It's been offered by him, dropping short, claimed by Brendan Carmody, the goalkeeper. David Connolly involved as well, and Adare are able to clear their lines. James Hickey has released it. Adare pushing forward in search of their first score of the second half. Jack Fitzgerald, jersey tugged. It's going to be a free for Adare out around the halfway mark at Newcastlewest. The reason that the play has been stopped is that St. Senans are bringing on a substitute. That would appear to be Darren Kearns. Darren Kearns receiving the little slip from club secretary Michael Milan, dad to the injured Conor Milan, the former county stalwart for so many seasons with Limerick. Minor, under 21, and of course senior. Play continues now, and Paul Maher making ground, gaining ground anyhow for Adare. St. Senans, by the way, have withdrawn Anthony Mulvihill. James Hickey needs to get rid of this one. He knew it as well. Aidan O'Connor, the captain, he's knocked it away, and St. Senans have stolen it. 14-man St. Senans. James Nocton looking to lead as a captain in this closing half. St. Senans are beginning to punch holes in the Adare defence. Not this time though, and Jack English as far as the advancing Hugh Burke. Quick ball movement through, and Adare looking for something. Maybe there's a goal. The goalkeeper has made a fantastic save. Cian Walsh denying Hugh Burke on that occasion. It's Adare. Mark Connolly. Adare have options. Sweeping ball claimed by Mikey Lyons. Goal for Adare. Just like that. Mikey Lyons with his goal in the 8th minute of the second half, and that restores Adare with a big lead here against St. Senans. They're in front by 4 points. A big score in terms of the low scoring nature overall of the match.
Big goal for Adare. St. Senans had dominated the early stage of the second half. Initially a great save from Cian Walsh from Hugh Burke's shot. Charlie McCarthy picking the ball up.
Nocton, it's 1 against 3 realistically. Nocton has earned a free. It's smack in front of the uprights. He thought about taking it quickly, and rather fortunately from his perspective, the referee has called it back. It's going to be a free for St. Senans. We're playing 9 minutes of the second half. The Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship tie. Adare in front. 1 goal and 7 points for them. St. Senans 6 points. St. Senans can close the gap to 3 points here with this free. If it goes over, Naughton has superbly knocked it over the crossbar. A point for James Naughton, and it's one that brings the difference between the two teams down to 3 points. Still a long journey left here at Newcastlewest.
Yeah, there is. Just immediately, it was a good reaction from after the concession of that goal. It was Naughton himself taking on the ball, and he has, as I was saying earlier, that Oran Collins is doing a very good marking job, but Naughton has taken a lot of the responsibility on himself, bringing St. Senans back into the game with his runs, with his passing, and now his shooting as Adare come forward again.
Adare holding on to the ball, and Paul Maher not for long. Mikey Lyons 1 goal and 2 points in this match. He's popped it down towards the corner, and Adare are holding on to possession. Here's David Connolly. In turn to Mikey Lyons. Lyons maybe and his company looking to draw the St. Senans defence and cover and maybe claim a free. Mikey Lyons, the breeze beginning to freshen here at Newcastlewest. Short ball popped as far as Shane O'Connor. Jack English looking for it back, and he has it. Here's English now going through. It's Shane O'Connor. Goal on here for Adare. It slipped in, and somehow the ball is coming out. They're at 6s and 7s inside there are St. Senans, but they have in the end claimed possession and a free. Ollie Wallace and co were under it. It could so easily have been goal number 2.
Goal number 2 and curtains it would have been for St. Senans, you'd think, at that stage. Very good, nifty hand passing in the attack from Adare to set up the chance for Shane O'Connor. Again, Cian Walsh did well, covered his angles, ball bobbled around the square, could have went anywhere. Lucky escape for St. Senans.
Darren Kearns, their new player that has been introduced in place of Anthony Mulvihill. A little bit slow reacting, but he has it. That's James Naughton, has kicked a point a moment ago from a free. What about from general play? That's a smashing one. James Naughton, his second point of this half, and that closes the gap to very manageable proportions. 2 points between them at this point.
Yeah, brilliant from Naughton again. We've already said he's probably the key to St. Senans coming back into this game. Lovely score there. Beat Jack Fitzgerald, got himself a bit of space, and a lovely swing of the right boot to put it over the bar.
This is the Irish Wire Products Limerick Senior Football Championship tie between Adare and St. Senans from Newcastlewest, being streamed live this evening on sportinglimerick.com. 1-7 to 8 points, the story of the match so far. Adare leading. They've added just one score, albeit a massive one since half time. The goal by Mikey Lyons. Jack English. Adare looking to move forward and do so stylishly with Aidan O'Connor. Hugh Burke. Nice ball played as far as his front line of attack. Back out it comes to Oran Collins. Slipped forward to Charlie McCarthy. Shane O'Connor plays it forward. He, the player that had a goal scoring opportunity a few minutes back in this match. Big long ball played towards the territory of Jack Fitzgerald, who wasn't quite expecting it, has done well to keep the ball alive, and possession is his. David Connolly, Jack English. English throwing it down invitingly towards the corner. St. Senans have earned a free from the Brewery referee, Mike Sexton. Scores elsewhere will have a bearing in terms of the two teams to progress, or 3 from this particular group. Right now, Mikey Lyons as Adare move on to 2 goals and 7 points in a very strong position. No matter what happens here, they will go through, and here they're looking for a third goal. It's a hat-trick for Mikey Lyons. Well, 2 goals in 15 seconds. Something that's unlikely to be repeated ever in Championship 2018. Mikey Lyons has scored 3 goals and 2 points. Adare will easily at this point probably top the group anyhow. Easily. They were doing that irrespective of the result, St. Senans still have an opportunity to qualify. More about that in a moment, as Adare are piling on the pressure. Who else? Only Mikey Lyons was involved. It spills away from him. Adare have the ball, dropped towards the left side of the full forward line. No break for an extra score, and that is just called wide. Scores elsewhere, John, having a bearing. We're maybe 10 or 15 minutes as well into those second halves.
Indeed we are, Mal. Newcastlewest 11 points to 5 up on Ballylanders. Must win game for Newcastlewest. After 39 minutes they've a 6-point lead. It's looking likely that it'll be them and Drumbroadford, or that them leaping ahead of Drumbroadford and leaving Drumbroadford in relegation final trouble against St. Patrick's, because Monleen are beating Drumbroadford by 4 points after 39 minutes as well. And just on them 2 goals, it's conceded by St. Senans, architects of their own misfortune, giving the ball away for the first goal. Left Hugh Burke, giving him that kind of room. Ball across the 21, easy finish then, having Mikey Lyons hand pass. Inexcusable the second, while Cian Walsh with a kick out straight into his hands, and Lyons made no mistake with a low finish that has effectively finished Senans' chances tonight.
And has propelled Mikey Lyons to great prominence here at Newcastlewest this evening. St. Senans are not done just yet as they advance, threatening Carmody's goal, and denied by the crossbar are St. Senans. Darren Kavanagh that time. And Adare are coming away, and Paul Maher in possession for the reigning champions in Limerick. Adare grabbing possession in their attack once again with Mark Connolly. Here's Hugh Burke for them. They're going for goal once again. It's Paul Maher. Burke inside, and it's touched to the right and wide. The player coming through was Dara Lane. He's going on. One of the twins. Twin along with Stephen. And the player that's making a way is now making his way towards the dugout at the near side of the ground, and that's namely Dara Lane, who could have been in on the goal scoring act there. The story of the match is it's 3-7 to 8 points.
Yeah, Adare now looking comfortable, although having said that, St. Senans had a great chance from Darren Kavanagh, who hit the crossbar to get back into the game. Maybe it's going to be a big challenge for them, albeit Sean McSweeney on the attack for St. Senans again.
Sean McSweeney, who's landed 5 points, 3 of those coming in the first half. It's Ollie Wallace, no way through, and Adare are able to pick it as we move into what is now the 18th minute of the second half of this often exciting Limerick Senior Football Championship tie, being played in Newcastlewest on a perfect pitch on a nice evening. Breeze has dropped again, but it is favouring Adare in this closing half. Paul Maher. Mark Connolly. No great hurry on the part of Adare. They have this handsome lead. James Hickey finding Shane O'Connor. O'Connor for Adare, holding on to possession is key. Jack English scored a lovely point in the first half, advancing his own line. He's been very much involved in all the good play by Adare. That's a disappointing kick in the end that's dropped away towards the left. Mike Sillery is moving in now for St. Senans. He's going to replace Ollie Wallace in the St. Senans attack. Sillery is called for this one himself. That's going to drop short of him. Going high was James Hickey, finding in the end centre half forward Hugh Burke. Free has been won by him. They're playing like county champions here in Newcastlewest this evening. Full forward having a shot at goal himself, Shane O'Connor, under that dropping ball, deciding to keep it in play. Cian Walsh. New man for St. Senans, engaged in the action, Mike Sillery. Ball in the end released forward by Darren Kearns, a second half replacement for St. Senans, who are under the cosh here at Newcastlewest as they trail rather heavily against the defending champions in Adare But still, the way the results are going, they're likely to be in the knockout stages. Adare and Jack English looking to get in on the score sheet once again as he kicks his second point of the evening. Jack English. St. Senans have restarted the play quickly. Stephen O'Connell. Maurice Fitzgerald. St. Senans, if you don't know, combination of Fines, Shanna Golden and Robertstown. 2 hops of the ball. Free is for Adare. They have possession, and that's Shane O'Connor that has released it rather quickly towards Paul Maher. Another free earned, that against Stephen O'Connell. Adare are pushing forward. They're not going to give up here at Newcastlewest. They want to chalk up a big score and maybe score another goal. Shane O'Connor released as far as Mikey Lyons. Maybe he's enough goals. He's got 3 already. And this one can be squeezed in, but not on this occasion from the boot of Hugh Burke. Adare now can afford the luxury of introducing a few extra fresh legs and players to impress and given an opportunity as well. One of those going on now, Cormac Lynch.
Yeah, they're strolling to a comfortable victory here, Mal. A couple of wides from Mikey Lyons and Hugh Burke in the last couple of minutes. Shots they took on that, and another day they might have hurried themselves and tapped it over. You can't see St. Senans getting back into it now, and them goals have been a real killer blow, especially down to 14 men. The final 10 minutes they're likely to tire a bit, especially the way Adare have been moving the ball forward. They're finding more scoring opportunities easier to come by now in the last few minutes, and as I said, heading towards a comfortable victory.
They're probably not going to get it easy in the semi-final, and certainly not a final if they were to progress that far. But they have the look, and a good look about them here at Newcastlewest this evening in terms of going further in this championship and once again winning the title for what would be the second occasion only, and back-to-back. It's not easy to put together back-to-back championships in Limerick these days, or indeed in any county. St. Senans and James Naughton looking for Stephen O'Connell. Finding Stephen O'Connell is Naughton. Up towards Lawler. Coming through on the right is Finnerty. Here's Lawler. Still it's Lawler. Nice ball released inside. St. Senans are looking for something. Not this time from Sean McSweeney though. It's gone to the left. It's wide. 8 minutes, a little over that now, of normal time remaining at Newcastlewest in this Senior Football Championship tie. Carmody gets us back underway, finds his available centre half forward Hugh Burke. Burke plants a ball that arrives towards midfield and is picked up here by Charlie McCarthy. McCarthy, nice ball towards Andy O'Connell. Andy O'Connell, clever ball through. Here come Adare once again. Oh, nicely taken away from the boot of Shane O'Connor by St. Senans, who have possession now with Darren Kavanagh. St. Senans and Adam Kearns for them. St. Senans aren't too happy with that particular call. It's going to be a free for Adare. Or has he given it the other way? I think he did. Anyhow, St. Senans have possession. Stephen O'Connell pushing forward for St. Senans. Adam Kearns this side. A St. Senans team rattled in the closing half with 3 goals by a certain Mikey Lyons, who has scored 3-2 this evening at Newcastlewest. Darren Lawler. Here's James Naughton. Still Naughton. He's been brought down unfairly by Andy O'Connell. As we approach the 23rd minute precisely of the second half at Newcastlewest. St. Senans with the free, James Naughton to take. Unlikely to pop it over from here. Certainly against the breeze, but that his best so far. 2 frees landed by Naughton and 1 from play. There, introducing yet another substitute. They're home and hosed in terms of the outcome of this match, leading rather comfortably here. Adare withdrawing the services of Shane O'Connor and giving an opportunity at this point to Billy Supple. Adare under it and Paul Maher. Finding Andy O'Connell. O'Connell to Mikey Lyons. Lyons is going through. He's the one man St. Senans don't want to have it. Here's an opportunity for the new man, but Billy Supple has not taken his chance. in fairness to Supple, it wasn't the easiest places to score from. 6 minutes of normal time remaining.
Yeah, trying another chance for Adare, and St. Senans have made another mess up from a kick. Another goal opportunity maybe here for Adare.
In the end, they've sent this one as high as you can possibly kick it, and it's dropped wide. Well, from such a close range, it was almost impossible to kick it as high as that. St. Senans looking to put a bit of respectability onto the score sheet. That will take a little bit of work, really. It's Ger Hanlon that has sent a big ball through towards James Naughton. Naughton, a goal would do a lot for St. Senans in terms of morale, but it's not easy beat Brendan Carmody in there. James Naughton. Right-booted effort by Naughton. This is good, and it's 4 points for James Naughton. Brendan Carmody, very tall man in there for Adare as goalkeeper, has played a lot of it over the last few seasons and has played as well. In terms of the score sheet, you can confirm it's...
Yeah, it's 3-8 few minutes.
But St. Senans will go through. They have a huge scoring advantage.
Yeah, St. Senans it'll be Monleen that will be out, and their season end. There's no relegation trouble for Monleen, but from a scoring point of view, it will be St. Senans and Ballylanders joining Adare in the knockout stages.
A lot to play for tomorrow in the Limerick Senior Football Championships as well, but that's for another day. At this point, it's Adare progressing with Paul Maher. Paul Maher has released this one in. Adare have missed a few chances in the latter stages of this match here at Newcastlewest. 27 minutes into this closing half. St. Senans and Stephen O'Connell going through Adam Kearns. Kearns for St. Senans. Slips it forward. Here's James Naughton. Here's Naughton. Released towards Lawler. Lawler looking for a way through. Sillery's in there. The goalkeeper is beaten. It's a late consolation goal here for St. Senans. And Darren Lawler with the goal. Well, he's fairly fit, okay. He'd want to be. He's on, as I said earlier, Ireland's Fittest Family. That's coming up on national television over the next few months or so. 3 minutes left in this match.
Yeah, fine goal there from Darren Lawler. He's been playing wing back most of the game, but has ventured up into the forward line in the second half. Took his goal very well, but Brendan Carmody got a hand to it, but low down, a man of his big size, struggled to get down to it. And breaking play now for an Adare injury, probably more gamesmanship slowing the game down than anything else. And a serious injury, I reckon, at this stage. 3-8 to 110 in favour of Adare.
That brings it down to 4 points.
4 points, 2.5 minutes of ordinary time left. You'd imagine Adare will have enough to still see this out, but Mal, as we know, stranger things have happened.
But in the end, St. Senans will be pretty pleased, given that they've played with 14 players for the entire second half and are now suddenly within 4 points of an Adare team. Adare, though, have rested some of their bigger players, and now unfortunately they have an injury concern as well ahead of any possible semi-final next month in October. The score, a reminder, is 3-8 to 1 goal and 10. Adare leading St. Senans by 4 points here at Newcastlewest. St. Senans not finished just yet, and it's James Naughton for Adare in a few weeks' time. Brendan Carmody, 90 seconds of normal time to go. Carmody drills it down the centre. St. Senans are still in the reckoning. Carmody, the big man under it, finds David Connolly. Connolly out the field it comes. And Adare looking to hold on to it under pressure on this occasion is David O'Connor. Ball has been touched on the ground. It's St. Senans with a free. St. Senans with the free, and Darren Kavanagh playing it back, finding Stephen O'Connell. St. Senans have threaded this one through. Adam Kearns. Kearns for St. Senans. St. Senans team, they're right in the frame for a surprise. Maybe they're 4 points down. They need a goal. Going forward is David Finnerty. Finnerty to the second half replacement, and a goalkeeper has made a save, only for Darren Kavanagh to score another late goal. And my word, it's not over here at Newcastlewest. It's down to a 1 point match. Well, Mike Sillery had a chance of a goal. Carmody saved, and then it was touched home.
Remarkable stuff here, Mal. St. Senans coming back from absolutely nowhere of them 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes. Adare now coming down the field again, but it's brilliant play from St. Senans. Set up that chance for Mike Sillery initially. Carmody with a fantastic save, but Sean McSweeney was on hand to flick the ball home from close range. But Adare now, as we head into the first minute of injury time, Adare on the ball.
In terms of the score, it's 3-8 to 2 goals and 10 points. 1 point between them. Adare are holding on against 14-man St. Senans, who put up a remarkable and spirited performance here in the second half. They look buried on a couple of occasions, but now they are in with an outside chance. 30 seconds of injury time has been played, maybe 2 or 3 minutes to be added on. Were St. Senans to get a draw, they'd be in the semi-final and not the quarter-final. Adare and Paul Maher. Adare are holding on. They know well too that St. Senans, were they to snatch a draw, it would mean that St. Senans and Adare would be in the semi-final of the championship maybe. Not going to happen. Adare would go through as top, St. Senans would go through as second, but it's just a remarkable display by St. Senans in this second half.
Some comeback, Mal. Yeah, it didn't look likely. Everything was against them at the start of the second half. Them 2 quick fire goals from Mikey Lyons as well. But they've stayed patient. James Naughton has led them the whole way through, with Sean McSweeney tacking over scores as well. But now a chance for Adare to finish things with Hugh Burke.
Hugh Burke is their 4th goal for Adare. Not if St. Senans and James Bridgman have their way. Adare with possession over there. Billy Supple. Supple has played it to the fringe of the square. Adare will take a point, and they have a 2-point lead in the second minute of injury time. So it's almost confirmed Adare will go through as table toppers unbeaten, it would appear. St. Senans will qualify for a quarter-final spot in either second or third place. St. Senans now, they're not giving up in terms of collecting maximum league points and offer here at Newcastlewest this evening. David Connolly looking to keep his opponent goal side. St. Senans and Maurice Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald for the Saints. Stephen O'Connell for St. Senans also. This is O'Connell. There are 2 points down. I think happy to settle for a point. Here's an opportunity, and that's a very tasty score by Mike Sillery. All eyes on Mike Sexton now, the match referee. We've played a little over 2.5 minutes, pushing towards the 3-minute mark of injury time. There's a little bit more to be added. It's Adare deep inside their own defence with possession. A couple of strong challenges going in on Owen Ryan. Right now it's Mark Connolly. Looking for it back is Adam Kearns. Adare holding on to the ball. Back out it will come to Mark Connolly. Good match here really at Newcastlewest in the overall context of the happenings. Charlie McCarthy finding one of the new players, Cormac Lynch this time. In the end now back to Charlie McCarthy. Adare looking for an opening here. They've taken their eye off the ball, and St. Senans may have one late chance. St. Senans coming towards midfield, and with possession it's James Naughton. Good player to have at 4 points in this second half. St. Senans are driving towards midfield, and Sean McSweeney free has been awarded. The referee Mike Sexton has issued a black card. A player will have to go off. That would appear to be the Adare player who's not been on that long is Andy O'Connell. Free for St. Senans, quickly dispatched, and back it comes towards Stephen O'Connell. This is the last chance. They have to push forward and go for a point, either from a free or from open play, and St. Senans are going the right way about it. Sean McSweeney, Dara Wolf, in turn to Darren Kavanagh. Kavanagh pumping it high. Maybe there's a late goal here. Carmody is under it. Brave piece of goalkeeping, and Adare are coming away, and they've held on to beat St. Senans.
Yeah, Mal, the lucky escape in the end. High ball in. Mike Sillery went for it. But Brendan Carmody came out brilliantly to take control, diffuse the situation, and there go through. Top of the table, 5 wins from 5. Gallant effort from St. Senans in the last 15 minutes to run them as close as they possibly could, especially being down to 14 men for the whole of the second half. But ultimately, it's Adare that have won through, albeit St. Senans should be happy enough for the quarter-final place.
So it's finished here on a final scoreline of 3 goals and 9 points to 2 goals and 11. Adare winners, if only just, over St. Senans.